2, 1. What's happening, YouTube? It's Friday night. You in the building with Lamont and the living legend Larry, the Avengers of Life Games. How you doing, my brother?
Oh man, I'm doing everything that I can to maintain my good Christian will and sanity during this time and not wish anything ill upon anybody. I
Man,
am
look,
trying my
man.
damnedest to be a good Christian man and not think about the things that the dark side wants me to think. I'm not going.
Yeah.
I'm going to go Obama. I'm going to go Michelle Obama high.
You're going to pick this opportunity to go high.
I'm going to try and go high, man. It's life and death with this thing. I don't want to be petty, so
forget it. Well, you can forget that from me, bro, because at some point in time, when the writing is on the wall, you're warned over and over again, and then you thumb your nose at the signs, then you want to act like it's a fake. You can't fly around the sun but so many times before your ass gets burned, Larry. So it is what it is. Do you remember somebody saying that? It is what it is. And ladies and gentlemen, we are going to discuss Donald Trump getting corona from his jump off, Hope Hicks, on the end block of our live discussion. We are going to talk about power. We're going to preview the coming episode. And we're going to talk about a fan favorite character that a lot of people are wanting to know, will they bring this person back? And Omari Hardwick, ladies and gentlemen, he's not Ghost anymore, but he's about to star in a movie with my homegirl, one of the most underrated superstars in Hollywood, Loretta Devine. They've got a movie coming out this month, and we've got the trailer, and you know we're going to talk that dirty. But before we get into it, let's shout out to everybody that came in here to show us some early love. Trisha C., even though her boy toy is missing in action a lot, she still comes, so you know we got love for you. Word from the curb.
You know, Teresa, you keep showing up without T Streams being here. We're gonna start thinking that you like us too.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we're gonna start thinking that you have some affinity to us, and I mean, hey,
I'm just saying, be careful.
Word from the curb. Haven't seen this individual, but love that name. Buzz 703. He's a regular here. He's super chats almost every time.
703.
351 Cleveland in the building. Miss Chris the Sis in the building. Mike Willie, he hits me on Cash App. He don't super chat. He Cash App because he hates how much YouTube take from the content providers. Family Dad Cooking done show. Brother, how you doing? I thought you done forgot about me. I mean, so many of you guys just come and go. I only see y'all 3 months out of the year when power is on. The rest of my content, you might as well poop on it, but I'm glad to have you back. Don't trip. I said it. Boy, that's a great name. And I'm going to say something tonight that I don't want people to trip. I said it. Larry, we got another living Larry in here. Larry Graham in the building.
Graham in the building.
Cash Money in the building. Reggie Greenleaf in the building. And Family Dad said, all love, fam. Let's get it in here, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get this thing popping. First thing we're going to discuss, we're going to preview the coming episode of Power. And I want you guys to keep this in mind about this coming episode. This is episode 5. It is the mid-season finale. Now, I've read one place where they're saying they're going to come back in December, but normally what they do is they have this little mid-season finale crap, and then they're gone till the end of January. So we'll see. But we want to know what type of fireworks are going to happen. And to give you guys context, let's take a look at episode 5's trailer.
What are you doing today? And you know I want to see you on your birthday.
The queen, Cain is the rook, Jude is the knight, Diane is the bishop, and they're running shit.
I'm leaning on you now, D. Get Tariq alone and get me some information.
This is just like your father. I got us now.
I know y'all up to something, huh? I can shut down the whole defense.
Having said that, and oftentimes at these mid-season finales, they like to throw a monkey wrench in the gear. They like to maybe have somebody abducted. I don't see them killing people this early, but Power can be similar to Game of Thrones at times. Sometimes they introduce new characters. So having said those things, I want you guys to think about it. Hit me in the comment section. Larry, what do you think? And shouts out to my big brother, Brandon, Just My Opinion Reviews. Go subscribe to his channel, link in description.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know what they're gonna do as far as a sort of a cliffhanger or a big boom moment where everybody can be like, ooh, I don't know what they're gonna do with that. I mean, the way they're going with Tariq and looking like he's about to start getting it in with every single, chick he's involved with, I'm thinking it might be something along those lines, but I don't know. It could be something where one of those girls gets hurt. Like maybe Diana gets kidnapped by the GTG or whatever they are, maybe Lauren, something happens with Lauren. Maybe she, her little square biz boyfriend turns out to be a little bit of a gangster and steps to Tariq or something. I don't know. Maybe something happens with Braden. Somebody tries to get, someone tries to get at Braden and he has to do something with that. I don't know. It's hard to say.
What about them bringing Tommy back? You want to talk about a mid-season finale? If they was to have that thing, maybe Tommy pops up like the last 5 or 6 minutes, it would have you sitting here hot for the next 2 months, waiting to see what the hell Tommy is going to do. Could we get a Tommy coming back? Yeah, that would be great.
I don't see it. I don't see it for the midseason. I feel like Tommy is such a popular character, and I think so many people are anticipating his show. I think that if they were going to do that they would do it at the end of the season, so that not only can they have that big moment for Ghost Power Book 2, but they could also sort of do a lead in to Tommy's show. So okay. I think if they're going to do it, it'll probably be at the end of the season versus the mid, versus the mid-season.
So even if we're going to see a big death at the end of the season, you still feel like having Tommy come on the show at the end of the season would supersede any of our emotional attachments to somebody dying.
I think so. I would honestly rather see Tommy come back than just see someone dying. Someone dying is not that it can't be a good story plot or a good, some sort of good finale, viewing. It's sort of predictable and expected. And it would be much more interesting to see someone alive versus someone dead. Like I would rather see them introduce a new character at the end of the season as the big surprise. Like I would love to see, at the end of all of this, maybe maybe 2-Bit shows up on campus and basically is like, I got a call from your boy in California telling me that you needed a soldier or something. And that's when we find out that Tommy and 2-Bit been in contact and 2-Bit's out and now he's there working for Tariq.
Now see that's what I'm hoping for, that somebody that we really loved in the past pops up now for the mid-season and maybe can continue the drama to the end. I'm with you. Don't bring Tommy now. Save him for the end, especially considering he's getting his own show. You can catapult him at the end. It'll, have us hyped for his show, but maybe bring in a 2-Bit. Someone of that ilk. I can't think of anyone else that's left that would galvanize the crowd, besides Tommy and 2-Bit. Spank's dead. Andre is dead. Ghost is dead. Don't nobody care about Angela's sister. There's really no one else left you can bring back from the old episode. Maybe this one. If they had set this series a little bit later, if they had moved this series up, like maybe say like 2 years, instead of having him go directly from the last season into this right here, where it's only a couple of weeks or days or whatever of time passage, then they could have brought in what's his name's little girl, the little Italian girl, Eliza Marie.
Yeah, Eliza Marie. They could have brought her in, but because they didn't let any time pass, she's still a little kid. so they can't really work with her on that level yet.
Well, they could bring her back and her family, and you could have where the Italians, they still got beef with Tariq. You could bring them back. I wouldn't be mad about that. That would be fine for me. And considering that they've already had Cooper Sacks and Rodriguez talking about what he did illegally to Eliza Marie, if word gets out to the Italian's family via Tariq, then you've got more drama with Cooper Sacks to get Cooper Sacks off Tariq's back. So something like that could be a good thing to spice up the midseason finale. Bring back the Italians and Eliza Marie.
That could be. It'll be interesting to see what they do with it. I mean, they have her there to work with. I mean, they could just leave her just sort of in waiting there for a season or two, because if it ever starts to get a little dull, if things start to wane a little bit, they can bring her in and people will be like, oh, snap, she's back, and, could add that extra interest factor in there. So I think the show right now is good enough that it's standing on its own. I don't think they really need to bring anybody else in just yet.
Right.
I think it'd be smart to bring in Tommy just as a lead into his own show, but I think the show's doing fine on its own. I don't really think they need to bring in anybody else.
I don't either. I think the show is fine, but we've already seen they're casting my man from ATL. He's going to be in here somewhere. Maybe he's supposed to be the big coup de grace for the midseason finale. I don't know. He might be. Maybe they'll bring Effie back and we'll find out she's connected to him because everybody likes Effie. But there is one other person I've been reading the tea leaves, shaking the trees, letting stuff fall out. There's a fan favorite, ladies and gentlemen, that a lot of people have been asking about. And I'm going to drop it on you. And if you're finding me and Larry for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, subscribe to his, check us both out. We go live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night. Hit us on the gram. And when you super chat us, we give you something visually funny. So before I go into my diatribe about who fans are saying they want to come back, for Family Dad super chatting, let me give you, let's see here. I got to give him a good one. Let me give him this one because I know he's black. He loves blacks, equality for all. So I'm going to give him this one if he was coming from another country.
I'd like to give a big round of applause to my band, Sexual Chocolate. I believe the children are our future. Thank you. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Love of all inside of me. Yeah. Sexual Chocolate.
Damn, that boy can sing.
You must be crazy.
He good.
You must be crazy.
See, Family Dad, that's what I'm saying to you. Damn, you a good super chatter. You good, and I appreciate it. So we've been talking about Tariq being in a love quadrangle. Well, what's the next step up from that? A love pentagon? There's a character that we all seem to forget about, but a lot of fans didn't. Take a look at this clip.
You know Tariq?
Yeah, I heard about his sister. I just wanted to make sure he was okay. I didn't want him to think that I had anything to do with it, because I didn't. You have to let him know.
Why would he think that? Hey, what's your name?
Destiny.
Y'all remember Destiny? Didn't she take Reek's virginity, if I'm not mistaken, or kissed him or something? Well, he was jonesing for Destiny, and the fans across the power spectrum have been jonesing for this girl. Let's take a look at Destiny right here. That's Destiny. Now, y'all know Larry don't like him thick. You know, if you 99 pounds soaking wet with 20 bricks in your butt, Larry think you're overweight. This is a little too thick for Larry. But the fans have been wanting to know what happened to Destiny, Tariq's first woman love. Larry, would there be any value in bringing Destiny to get involved in a Pentagon situation with Tariq?
I mean, you have Lauren. You have Diana. You have Professor Megrum. You have Effie. He's already got 4 dimes to deal with. I mean, if you're gonna bring somebody else in, man. I mean, if you're gonna bring somebody else in, I don't know. Maybe they should bring what's her name in over from the Shy. Bring Keisha in. Let her come over. What's the name of that school he goes to?
The one he's in. He used to go to Choate.
Yeah, but the school he's at now? Whatever that school's name is, let Keisha come there on a track scholarship.
Oh God! See, you forever trying to mix the Shy with Power, and then you want to mix.
I'm just saying, man.
Then you try to mix P Valley and Hightown with the. So what we're gonna have a Stars TV program All-Star series that's gonna have Hightown. It's gonna have Crooked Letter, and it's gonna have Tariq all in the same show.
All of it, man. All of it. Lord. It's gonna be beautiful. It's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, well, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of fans like Destiny. For me, I mean, I think she's beautiful woman and all that. She just didn't add enough for me. When I saw that, I was shocked. Like, this is, of all people you want to come back, y'all want her to come back? I mean, it is what it is. But I mean, man, I would if they could resurrect Jukebox, I would love to somehow have another seen Jukebox in this series.
Jukebox was the cop, right?
She was the crooked cop. Yeah, man. Yeah, I would love to see. Yeah, and this would have fit right in with her. I'm going to make one more point about the mid-season finale, and then we'll move on. But before I do that, my folk Buzz703, he's super chatting, and he said he wants to know if President Trump is taking that bleach syringe that he was telling everybody to take. Buzz, you know goodness well he's the type of person that says, "Do as I say, not as I do." But for that, Buzz, I'm going to have to give you this one because you can't be running around here disrespecting my president. You understand?
What?
You can't disrespect my president just because he gets it.
I didn't say all that. I'm just not wishing anything bad on
that, Buzz, I'm giving you this. That's right, Buzz. Love should have had you not write down that the president should take bleach because he said to take bleach to get rid of coronavirus. And waved his hands and shit like he was a wizard. That's what you said. And Love should have had you not saying that about the president. Okay, good Lord. The money's raining tonight.
I'm going high.
One more before we do it. My folk Mike Willie done hit me on the Cash App. So we got one more. And let me see here. Mike Willie, for you. I'll appease you and Larry with this.
Yeah, go ahead and burn all that.
My king, we cannot do that. It is our tradition.
When I tell you to do something, I mean that shit. Burn it all.
Conda forever, baby. Appreciate you, Mike Willie. Now to finish up Power, I just want to say one
thing right quick.
Yeah, go for it.
I just want to say one thing. I just want to make sure that we do recognize that Killmonger is the true and righteous ruler of Wakanda. I just want everyone to remember that.
Y'all see what's on this shirt.
That's all I'm saying.
Killmonger would never look good in this Black Panther outfit. Forget it. No.
He already did.
No.
He already did. He didn't need that one. He had his own. He had his one with the black and gold. That was dope.
That was the Golden Jaguar. And no. See, people. Anyway, getting back to Power. We know that Kane came to a realization.
Talk about real power. Let's talk about Killmonger saying hello to his auntie. That was a power move. That was a power move.
Yeah, it was. But in Power, we've just seen Kane take issues with his mom laying down the law of the order. She basically told him, "You ain't good for nothing but muscle." And when she need brains, she going somewhere else.
Yeah,
Kane has already. Kane
She
has
put a real
already.
hurt on his feelings.
Yeah, she hurt him. He's a mama's boy too. Kane is really. There's division being sold between Kane and Monet because in one episode, Kane came up and seen the cop leaving the house. And I really feel like in this coming episode, you're going to see Kane probably catching Monet and the cop interacting with each other, and she's keeping it from him, and he's going to want to know what the hell you're doing. And then you're going to have little Tariq come in there, because y'all know Tariq plays chess, not checkers, and begin to sow division the same way the Russians have tried to sow division in the great United States of America. Woo! Your turn, Larry.
Well, they didn't try. They're doing a pretty good job of it, I have to say. They have basically studied, figured out our weak points, and they are just pushing every single button that they can right now. So we'll see, though, because I don't think they fully expected what might happen if Trump kicks the bucket.
Yeah.
So,
but
it could get ugly, but it could just make us all stable. It could just stabilize everything. It could send those other people back under a rock, and the rest of us sane people can maybe move on. So, I mean, it's going to be, anyways, we'll save that for the politics section. But
ladies and gentlemen, hang in there. In about another 20 minutes, we will be to the politics section. We will cover everything and how it messed with the stock market today, which blows my mind. We'll cover all that in a minute. But that's my final thesis on Power Episode 5 preview. We're going to see more division between Kane and Monet, and we're going to see Tariq begin to plant the seeds of deception, deceit, and destruction in the Tejada family. And we're going to move right along from there.
What do you want to see with Tariq and with Monet and Kane?
Kane to me, he has more of the recklessness of Tommy. And I can easily see him wanting to do split the same way Tommy wanted to split from Ghost. But he definitely needs a brain with him. So I can possibly see him leaving Monet, maybe hooking up with Tariq somehow. And then Monet just going to be stuck out there. There's going to be retaliation from the GTG thing. Lorenzo is not going to be happy that she let Kane beat him up, considering he had that connection to his little guap's dad. So there's going to be a fracturing. I just don't see them. They're not going to kill Monet. They're not going to just make her an expose and get rid of her, but they're going to split something up, and Monet is going to have to choose a side, and I don't think Kane is going to be on that side.
Yeah, I'm interested to see. I kind of would like to see Kane working with Tariq, because Kane wants to have his own thing, and I could see him going to Tariq and those two working together, and Tariq basically says, "You shouldn't be treated this way. You're smart, and you got all plus you got street hustle. I want you to run things on the street for me." Tariq's gonna run Tariq can handle the stuff at the school, and Kane can run the stuff on the streets.
Let's
say valued, and if he has any, and that way Tariq has his little bit of muscle. He's got his political muscle and his white people muscle with Braden. So if he gets any trouble, he's got his white dude he can hide behind. And if he needs some street muscle, he can have Kane to go out there and whoop some people, shoot some people. And Tariq can just basically sit back, move the pieces, and collect his bread.
Well, here's the problem. We don't know where Lorenzo is going to fall in line on all this. I mean, because Lorenzo may or may not be down for Kane partnering up with Tariq. He's a wild card. I think he's going to be upset at the way Monet embarrassed, beat up the GTG leader, Little Guap. But we've got to see where Lorenzo falls in line on some of these things. So it could also be interesting if they let somebody out of jail. Let's say they let Lorenzo out of jail or Tasha out of jail on some technicality. That could prove to be interesting too for a mid-season
Right.
finale. You know, so
Right.
ladies and gentlemen, put your comments down there. Let us know what you think. We are going to move on to a trailer review that involves the man that used to play Ghosts on Power. If you're finding me and Larry for the first time, please subscribe to this channel, subscribe to his, follow us, check us out live Monday, Wednesday, and Friday night, where we cover TV shows, we cover movies, we cover issues in the Black community, we cover things going on in politics, we even talk stock markets, all the things that give you a life game. So Omari Hardwick left Power because he said he don't want to be typecast. He has more range than just the TV show Power. And he's getting ready to do a horror film with Loretta Devine called Spell. Take a look at the trailer, and then we'll break it down.
Where I grew up, it's another world from this one. My father was stuck in time a little bit.
What was he like?
He was religious, just differently, like superstitious.
So what y'all doing around these parts?
We're going up for my daddy's funeral.
They don't get many visitors up in those hollers.
I'm taking it down! Where am I?
You was in a plane accident.
What about my family?
Baby, you were the only one found.
I need an ambulance.
Ain't a hospital within 50 miles of here. Where you think you is? New York City.
Oh, shoot.
This, it stands for you. Whatever happens to it, happens to you. I'm gonna fix you. I'm gonna fix you good. All God's doing now is all right now. Tell us what you see. You may live in the city, but you from this land. I got big plans for you.
I put a spell on you. They got my family. She controlling everyone in town.
Put you up, put you down.
Hey!
This is for your own good.
Oh. Damn.
Nope.
Well, y'all know Larry don't do horror, but I do. Nothing like that scares me. But ladies and gentlemen, I love that casting. The writing from the trailer now looks well. That looks like a cross between, I don't know if y'all seen Ma with Octavia Spencer. Looks like it's got a little bit of that, a little bit of Misery. It looks like it had a cross of all those movies and some antebellum in it too, with some time jumping and people putting spells on you like they could be in Louisiana. So it's a day one for me. I will be seeing it on Amazon. I love Loretta Devine, who I just think is one of the most underrated actresses in all of Hollywood. She deserves more acclaim. And when she's in something, usually she can carry a show. And Omari Hardwick, I'm glad to see him stepping outside the bounds of what he normally has been doing. He's an accomplished actor too. This man can not only do the silver screen, but he can do plays. You know, he is born and bred to act. Great black looking cast in a horror film. So y'all know stupid shit like white girls falling down 2,900 times and giving the bad guy time to catch him probably ain't going to happen. It looked like Jordan Peele could have wrote it. And Larry, I am there.
Cool. Let me know how it is.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
You know, I do not mess with scary stuff, man.
Do I need to go?
Mess with scary stuff.
Do I need to put a spell on you that's going to tie you to the chair, hold your eyelids open, and make you watch this thing the whole entire time without being able to blink?
See, don't make me go Wu-Tang on you. I'll sew your asshole shut and just keep feeding you and feeding you and feeding you.
Hey man, you can't feed a man who already overweight. How about that?
Yes, you can.
You can't overfeed a person who already overweight, baby.
I'm not watching that. No, thank you.
What do you think about the trailer? Okay, you ain't gonna watch it. What do you think about the trailer?
No, it looked good, and I'll be honest with you, it looks good, and it looks like it actually looks scary. It doesn't look like one of those movies, like one of those slasher movies. Like when I think of like Friday the 13th and Freddy Krueger, I've seen those movies. Those movies aren't really like scary; they're more startling.
Yeah,
those movies seem to like rely on people jumping out, from behind windows and in cars and doors and ooh, there he is, and that type of thing. This seems more like one of those movies that messes with your mind.
Exactly. That's what makes it good. That's what makes it
far more scary. I don't like those.
Yes. Those are the best. Who cares about jump scares? That slapstick stuff. Nobody cares about that. Those are startling, not scary. This looks scary. Right. Not only does this have the startle piece to it, but it also has the psychological thriller piece to it on top of that, which makes this thing a triple threat. And I'm glad to see them come together to put this on the silver. Well, I can't even say silver screen, on the regular screens.
On some screens,
because dummies don't want to do what they need to do with Rona, which leads us to the last segment. I'm going to give this segment a whole 20 minutes.
Wait, before we leave movies and stuff, man.
Yeah,
you didn't show a trailer for Good Lord Bird.
I didn't know about it.
It's coming out on the 4th, which I think is this Sunday. Look it up right quick. Go to YouTube. Look up Good Lord Bird right quick and find us a trailer.
Okay. Well, how do you plan to entertain the audience while I'm busy?
I'm gonna tell them about. I'll brief them. I'll brief them on our political section as we get ready to move into that. So
okay, give them a briefing.
So we are going to talk about next. Obviously, we have to talk about a little politics. It's Friday, and well, as you know, Walter Reed has its executive guest, its executive suite filled up because Donald Trump has coronavirus.
Larry, before you go, while you're doing that, let me give them context, because I can't prepare for that. I'll give them context while I'm looking up this movie.
Donald Trump has tested positive for coronavirus along with his wife, the First Lady, Melania Trump. The president tweeted they will begin their quarantine and get through this together. Hope Hicks, an aide to the president, tested positive for coronavirus on Wednesday, prompting the Trump family to also get tested. Hicks had travelled on Air Force One with Trump on the way to the first presidential debate. Donald Trump, who turns 75 next year, is in the high-risk category for those affected by the disease due to his age. However, his physician has released a statement confirming both the president and his wife are well at this stage and will isolate themselves in the White House. The quarantine may impact the president's re-election campaign, with the vote just 1 month away. It is unclear whether the second debate between Joe Biden and Donald Trump will go ahead, which was due to take place on the 15th of October in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw it, Larry, but I'm not going to be able to pull it in. So we might have to just discuss it. We might have to discuss it on the back end. But we'll go ahead and dive on into the politics. So,
yeah, let's do that.
So where do we begin? We could go back to the start of this man's presidency, to the point now where there's actually, we have to question if he really has coronavirus or not. Because we know just how evil, vile, dastardly, and how many lies this man has told. For all we know, he could be lying about coronavirus. And for those of you saying, well, how's the hospital's not going to lie for him? We've seen him go in stage hospitals before. Y'all remember when him and Pence showed up at the hospital, people's on ventilators, and he told the hospital, we're not wearing masks, even though it was Cleveland Clinic, even though they said it's required, he said no. So don't tell me that he can't lie and fudge those things up.
Yeah.
To get to the real truth of this, we don't need to hear from anybody on Trump's team. We need to hear from the medical doctors. Tell us what they say. Now, a lot of you guys might be saying, why is it important we know about the president's health, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. And if you're someone who's a Trump lover or anyone in general saying that, you have to pay attention and understand that this is the person who's the leader of our nation. His health is our utmost needs. We need to know because it makes us vulnerable if he has to step down and Mike Pence got to be put up there. And for those of you that really want to know something, what happens if Mike Pence gets sick and has to step down? Oh, Nancy Pelosi becomes the
first female president.
Nancy P becomes the president. And me and my wife have seen so much misinformation that I know Larry has seen today. And I'm going to give it to Larry on this point, then I'll finish up. We was reading some chick who's supposed to be a Christian. She says she's a Christian, and we need to pray for the president, that we shouldn't say anything bad about the president. We need to pray. Oh, man, social media went hard on her ass, and they should have, because the reason we in this mess in the first place is because of him. He got caught on Bob Woodward's tape saying he knew this was more dangerous than what it was. We're still in the midst of this because he's got little trumpets running states where the virus is ticking back up, opening up the whole damn state. We have not managed this thing well. He just had a debate where he picked on Joe Biden for wearing a mask everywhere, even though people don't show up to Joe Biden's events. Joe Biden ain't came down with coronavirus. And I bet you the only reason Trump got it is because he's been somewhere with his jump off where he shouldn't have been. And I wanted to ask that lady that was bringing up all her Christian values, was you praying for the president when he used taxpayer money to pay off Stormy Daniels? Larry, I give it to you.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, I'm not wishing him any ill will, but that is where that's about where it ends for me. That's about where it begins and where it ends for me. I'm not wishing him any ill, and that's it.
Well,
honestly,
you're a better man than me, Larry, because I don't understand. And now I'm not debating with you, but you are the same guy who just got up here Wednesday and said Black people are tired of peaceful protesting because the only time white people listen to us is when we leave our communities burning up stuff and we go burn up stuff in their communities. So I guess the difference for you is human life. That's what it sounds like. Is that correct?
I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, to me, there's a big difference between burning down a building and someone's taking their life. You burn down a building, you can rebuild that building. Someone dies, there's nothing else from that. That's it. That's final.
So now, let me ask you this. Being that you're going to be nice, you're going to go high when most people want to go low, like me. Why should anybody who is involved in the 208,000 people dead have any sympathy and want to give Trump a prayer when it's because of his actions, his direct actions that have led to their people dying, him getting sick, and him not wanting to listen to the science?
I'm not saying that they should.
Okay.
I'm not saying that they should. I'm not saying they should have sympathy or they shouldn't have sympathy. They have to do what's right for them in this moment. I will say this as my wife said this today. Mm-hmm. I don't want him to die. I just don't want him to be president anymore. And so whatever that looks like, if he's in the hospital and he's incapacitated for the next, 20 days or something, they're getting really close to the election. The Republicans at some point, maybe the Republicans just say, look, it's too close. We're going to have to make a decision. Either we're going to have this person on the ballot who may not actually be able to hold office because he's incapacitated. Or we need to replace him and put somebody else on the ballot. whatever whatever the case is, I'm not saying I want him to die. I just don't want him to be president.
Well,
and that's ultimately where I'm at. I want him to go away somewhere. And I mean, the reality of it is he has his attitude, the things that he has said, the way he has handled this pandemic has caused a lot of harm and a lot of death in this country. And I think I just think that that it's going to be, I don't even know how to say, I'm trying to figure out how to articulate this because I don't want to sound as if I'm wishing ill on someone, because I'm not. Part of me feels like maybe if he goes through something serious with this, even if he goes through something serious, maybe he will learn from it and he will be able to move forward with a different attitude, but maybe not. I don't know. Maybe if he gets horribly sick and recovers, maybe he will change the way he thinks and feels about this pandemic and will actually decide, okay, this is not a joke. I need to go ahead and implement these things that the CDC has said. We need to start a mask mandate. We need to go ahead and shut stuff back down and fund the government and fund the unemployment, make sure that everybody has a certain amount of money every month coming in so that they can afford to pay their bills and eat and have housing. Maybe we need to do all these things for a few months so that we can knock this pandemic down and we can get everybody still living. And maybe in 2 or 3 months after we've knocked it down, we can go back to life as normal. Maybe if he goes through something serious enough, maybe he can get to that point, but maybe not. And maybe the only way to really get our country to that point is for him no longer to be in the office. And I mean, it would be unfortunate if the way that he has to leave office is because he's sick and dies, or he's so sick that he can no longer, hold that office. But I mean, at some point you have to make sacrifices for this. I joined the military when I was younger. I was willing to put my life on the line and sacrifice for this country. There's lots of men and women out there who have actually died putting their life on the line and sacrificing for this country. There are people out there who have given their limbs, they have given their brains, they have given their mental health, they have given all kinds of stuff in service of this country. And so if he needs to leave office and give up power in service of this country because he's sick, then so be it. Do it.
Well, Larry, I'm from an old country town called Aden, North Carolina. Country town. You got to go milk the cows to get milk, and it's a lot of pigs. And let me tell you something about the old pigs. The old pigs would go back to the same mud pile that they got from every single day. Donald Trump is 77 years old. His ass is not changing his ways because of this. Forget it. He's going to be just like them pigs I used to play with in the country. The old ones would go back to the same mud pile every time. Now, if we was looking for anything to give this man some humility, it would have happened a long time ago. And for that, we have to look at him the same way we look at any other individual that reads the warning label and decides, fuck it, I'm going to do what the hell I want to do anyway. And I'm going to drive this car into the sun knowing that is going to burn it up. And that's what he did. That's what he did. And it almost seems like poetic justice that the thing that could take down his presidency is coronavirus, even though it shouldn't have been coronavirus, should have been things that happened way before that. Then this might tie up the Supreme Court nominee, because all the people that they have contact traced back to him on that Saturday with him and Hope Hicks, they getting sick too. My state senator got sick. One of the other ones got sick that would be voting for the Supreme Court person. And so all them chickens coming home to roost, and all that lying, when you lie and you lie and you lie and you lie, you can't bullshit your way, but for so far before the House tumbles down on an empty foundation. And so having said that, he ain't wishing me well. Hell,
No, I feel you. Here's the thing, and let me address, because there's a couple people in the comments section I think getting a little out of cup, getting a little out of cup there. There's Margarita Brown is asking, who am I voting for? Let me just, if you're not clear, if you don't see my hat, and you're not clear about that, let me just say there's a big difference between me saying I'm not going to wish someone ill and wish death upon them versus I don't want them in power. There's a big difference there. I don't want to see Donald Trump as president. I want him out of power. Now, if he has caused a lot of people harm and a lot of people sickness and death by not handling this pandemic, and if he dies, he dies. I'm not going to shed a tear for him either way. But at the same time, I'm not going to wish ill will on this man. I'm not going to wish him to die. I'm just not going to do that. When Saddam Hussein got killed, I was in D.C. I went out there. The White House was packed out in front. People were jumping up and down, screaming, "We got him!" and singing the national anthem and chanting USA. They were celebrating and basically dancing on this man's grave. I personally do not believe that is appropriate. There are times when people need to get taken out. There's times when people have to go, and they go. I think that in those times, you do what you have to do, and you mourn the fact that it even had to reach that point, that it had to come to that. But you don't celebrate the death. You just don't. And so I'm not going to wish this man ill. I'm not praying for him. There's a difference. I'm not wishing him well. I'm not wishing him ill. He has to deal with the consequences, whatever God deems those consequences may be. Now, because I'm not wishing him ill and I'm not wishing death upon him, if he does get sick, my only alternative is to say, well, I hope that he learns from being sick. I hope now that he's gone through this, that he will learn from it, because my concern is that he will have gotten sick. He'll get infected with coronavirus. They'll have these special treatments, once they're already bringing in these experimental treatments that they're getting approval for compassionate relief or whatever they're calling it. And my concern is he'll go to the hospital. He'll get all the world's best treatments that are available to anybody in the world, not to anybody, but that are available in the world. And he'll recover and he'll be fine in a short period of time with minimal discomfort. And he'll come back to the White House thinking, oh yeah, coronavirus isn't that bad. So what? I had it. I'm an old guy. I'm 74 years old. I'm overweight and I made it out just fine. I had a little bit of a cough and a little bit of a fever. It's no big deal. I'm not going to tell people they need to close everything down because people get a little bit of a fever and a cough. So my fear is that if he doesn't get sick, if he doesn't get really sick, if he doesn't get to the point where he's near death, that he won't have a change of heart when it comes to this issue. And that's that's about as far as I can go, is saying I hope he gets in a position where he does have a change of heart, because I'll be honest with you, I'm not going to wish death on him. Now, if that makes you question my credibility about who I'm voting for, or if I'm down for the cause, then you just have to question it. I'm not wishing death on anybody. Sometimes death is what needs to happen to people, and they need to get taken out. And when those moments happen, they happen.
That was well said, just like a politician. I must admit, man. Look, if power needs somebody to go on the show with Tate, you my guy, Larry. You is my guy. But I'm sitting here telling you right now, fuck all that. Not you, what you say. I'm just saying the notion of we go low, they go. No. This man had wished pure evil on the United States. And the beauty of this whole thing is what he was serving to people is now biting him in the ass. That's the beauty of this thing. And what might wind up happening is all the evil that was trying to do with the Supreme Court might not even happen because of this coronavirus.
I just want to tell Margarita Brown, you need to be careful, because I'm about to tell you to kiss my entire black ass saying some bullshit like that. Talking about it makes you question me as a black man in America. You don't know, Larry, Margarita. You need to be real careful with that reckless talk right there, because I can tell you right now, just because I'm not wishing death on somebody does not mean that I'm not down for the cause, that I'm not black. You can go ahead and let that white man scar your soul up. Let him do. He's not going to have that much power over me. I'm not going to have that wound on my soul because I wished another human being death. Not going to do it. Just not going to do it.
Well,
if you want to do it, go for it.
He has a higher moral clout than me because I don't even worry about that. If somebody and me and him oppose on something else too, but you know what? You get what's coming to you. I mean, you can't put a warning label on something, but so many times when you decide to do it, you screw yourself over. But I think it's important that
people need to realize that just because I'm not wishing something bad on somebody doesn't mean that I'm rooting for them.
Right.
I'm not rooting for the motherfucker. I give two shits about Donald Trump. I am, as people would like to say, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. I do not care if this man dies. I don't care if this man lives. What I want is for Donald Trump to not be president.
Yeah.
If he's no longer president because he gets voted out, great. If he's no longer the president because he dies, so be it. If he's no longer president because he's incapacitated because of his illness, okay. I'm not saying that I'm wishing anything bad on the man. I just don't want him to be president. If you have a problem with that, and you think that's question that you should question my blackness, I think you might need to question your humanity.
Well, any event, anybody that's been following this channel know where Larry's coming from. So we're gonna move on beyond that.
I can't believe a motherfucker would get up there and fix their keyboard to try and say they're gonna question me as a black man in America. You can kiss you can kiss my sweaty left nut. That's some old bullshit. Get the fuck out of here with that.
Well, you know, Larry, don't invite people to do things they might like. You know what I'm saying? Don't give out those type of invitations. But ladies and gentlemen, for me, it's suffering that Trump needs to have. Suffering being that he can be removed from office because he's already said if he loses, he's not planning on leaving. So the ultimate embarrassment to Trump would be not only did he get Rona, he got sick from it, but then when Joe Biden pounds his butt, they have to come in there and arrest him and take him out of office. Walk the humility of shame, the line of shame. I guarantee you that would be the most belittling thing that could ever happen to Trump, alongside catching coronavirus. But I think it's also important that we talk about what happens legitimately in the chain of command if Trump was to kick the bucket. Larry touched on it earlier. If Trump was to kick the bucket, some of y'all might be thinking Pence automatically slides into that position. That's not true. The GOP would have to nominate someone. Most likely, they would nominate Pence. But Larry, do you think they would nominate someone outside of Pence?
Well, no. From my understanding, what happens is that if Donald Trump passes or becomes incapacitated, so he can no longer discharge the duties of the office, then it goes automatically to Pence. He is the next in the line of succession. He will get sworn in and become president.
No, I'm talking about for the ballot.
For the ballot. Yeah, I believe at that point, if he can no longer be on the ballot, then I don't know how that's going to work out, to be honest with you.
They have to nominate someone. I looked it up already.
I think they would, but I think there's going to be a whole bunch of legal challenges because I would like to say that the Democrats would try and challenge that and say, hey, you can't just throw somebody on the ballot that these people had to have had, that they would have had to have met a certain number of signatures in each state to meet the requirements.
Mm-hmm.
They would have had to have registered with each state election board so that they could run for president and be on the ballot in that state. So there would be all kinds of legal challenges that I don't believe could be resolved before the election. No.
Okay. So you think they would just go ahead and let Pence roll into it?
Probably, because I don't really see another option, especially if the Democrats decide. It doesn't even have to be the Democrats. It could just simply be, it could be a think tank or any other interested, any other interested party that has standing to bring that lawsuit. They could bring those suits, and they could do it in all 50 states and just say, no, you can't put this person on the ballot, and then you just and then you're stuck in court for the next however long, I mean, really, it's not going to be stuck in court that long. They'll be stuck in court for the next, because we're only 30 some days away, 31, 32, something like that. So even if all they had to do is hold it up for another month, and that's it. And then the case goes away because the judge after that was just dismiss it and say, well, the lawsuit no longer has any standing because it's after the election date. The election's already occurred, so it just doesn't matter anymore. You have to work out whatever happened with the election. So I think the Republicans will probably, if anything, they'll leave it as is right now. I don't know how that works out if Donald Trump passes with this. I don't know if Pence then becomes elevated or something.
They can do that.
And then after that, they nominate. Maybe they nominate a VP. I'm not sure how that works, to be honest with you.
The GOP has the right to nominate someone, but to have a smooth transition, the best thing to do would be to elevate Pence to that nominee. But the GOP party has the right to nominate someone in the unlikely event the president was to kick the bucket. But an even scarier scenario would be, it would still be the same thing. So let's just say that the president died and Pence died. Nancy Pelosi is the president. The GOP still gets to nominate someone to be put on the ballot. That's the GOP still gets to nominate to put someone on the ballot, or they can do a constitutional referendum and let Nancy Pelosi remain the president, or it wouldn't work if Mike Pence had it. Let Nancy Pelosi remain president, and they postpone the election for a period of up to 3 months so they can go through a primary process.
Well, they would have to. The Congress would have to agree to that. I mean, Nancy Pelosi.
That's why I said right. That's why I said
if there's any sort of shenanigans that go on in the electoral process, and there's not a president, there's not a president to be sworn in on the 21st. Nancy Pelosi will be sworn in as the acting president, and so I don't see the Republicans allowing that to happen. I mean, they might want it to happen because as hated as Nancy Pelosi is on the right, if they had to postpone the election, that would really do a lot. It might galvanize their troops a bit, but at the same time, there might be so much anger and frustration and hatred towards the Republicans when the Democrats are out there nonstop reminding people, look at this constitutional crisis we're in. Look at the mess our country's in because of what the Republicans did, because they refused to listen to the scientists, because they refused to do the right thing by the American people. Now they want to take us down an even further, rabbit hole. And we should not allow that to happen. That's what they should do. And because the Democrats control the House, they're not going to postpone the election. They're just going to say, run with it.
Nope, that won't be happening. So the stock market today, ladies and gentlemen, last night when the news broke that Trump had coronavirus, the stock market took a dip. Now, I'm sitting here saying to myself, okay, it didn't say he died. It said he had coronavirus. Why did it take a dip? Larry, would you care to speculate on why the announcement of President Trump having coronavirus caused people to sell off or move their stocks back into cash?
Yeah, a couple things. First, before I do, let me just give a big shout out to a few people in the comments section. I want to say big shout out to Bzz703 because, I like them. I like to see my brothers have my back. Louisiana boy James out there talking and doing his thing, a couple other folks in there, a couple other folks having my back. Trust to see out there, a few other folks, because we every once in a while we get some trolls in here, and I think one of them might be one of those Russian propaganda trolls might be in the comments section, So I'm not convinced that's a real person.
Might be,
but
you know, we get them. We definitely get them. We get them.
But I will say, as far as, I mean, there's a couple things. One, I wasn't surprised by what happened today in the market, even before this whole thing with Trump. If you recall, I sent you a message about what I said was going to happen with the market today, and I said it's Friday. People are going to sell because people always take profits on Friday. It just happens. Some days the market's up, but it's, but even then, it's a lot of people taking profits on Friday, and then Monday people will come back, and sometimes Monday's up or down. And then Tuesday, the market seems to stabilize, and it usually starts to go back up on Wednesday and Thursday, So, I wasn't surprised by that. I think that anytime there's any sort of stability and, instability in the country where people are worried about, the government and what's going to happen with it, people often start moving their money out of stocks, and they move them to more stable things. They move them into cash, or from various from our country, various countries, T-bills, whatever. They move them into precious metals, into gold and stuff like that. They move them into other things. So
bond, they put them in the bond market. They spread it around.
People don't like, and the market doesn't like instability. Traders don't like instability. Hedge funds and all the other groups, they don't like instability. And so I think once everything has stabilized, they'll be fine. I think one thing is that we will probably see the market probably go stratospheric if Joe Biden is elected president and we have a smooth transition of power, because the market likes stability. And as much as people keep saying, oh, if Joe Biden's elected, he's a far leftist, he's going to do all kinds of crazy stuff, he's going to punish rich people, yada, yada, yada. There's no evidence of that whatsoever. I mean, Joe Biden is a moderate. And to be honest with you, with his policies today and with a lot of the policies of moderate Democrats, he would probably be considered a Republican 30 years ago. So, I mean, because the country has moved so far to the right. And so, I mean, the reality of it is that the market likes Joe Biden. They want to see Joe Biden because Joe Biden is stable. They're not going to have to worry about Joe Biden starting trade wars with people. They're not going to have to worry about Joe Biden saying some flippant thing on Twitter and sending the markets into a spiral. They're not going to have to worry about all that lunacy. They're going to know that Joe Biden is going to be a stable force in this country that's going to allow the markets to function in a nice, normal, functioning way. And they're going to see what's coming. They're going to know what's going to happen that's good, and they're going to know what's going to happen that's bad. And as much as people don't like to see bad things happen, when they see them coming, they know it's coming. They know how to react to it. They know how to respond and deal with it. It's like if someone says, "I'm going to punch you in the face in 3 seconds." 1, 2, 3. It's still going to hurt, but maybe you can fix your mind to accept it. Maybe you can lean with the punch a little bit to take some of the sting off the blow. But if someone just walks up to you and just crack, that crap hurts. You weren't expecting it at all. So people like stability, and Joe Biden is stability. So I think the markets, I mean, we see what happens when there's anything with Trump, because we never know what's going to happen with him. You never know what's going to go on. Anytime a president's in the hospital, it's going to cause people to be a little scared because they don't know what's going to happen with the country. But I think after all this, if Joe Biden wins the election, I think that we're going to see the stock market just hit record levels again. I wouldn't be surprised if we see the stock market go over 30,000 for the first time.
I wouldn't be surprised either, and we just hope for the best. Hope Trump sticks around, ladies and gentlemen, not kick the bucket. Be here to see his loss. Nothing can scar him more than defeat, not just a defeat, but a sound defeat. That would be the most punishing thing for him. And then the state of New York has got a whole lot they want him to answer for. And I'm here to see his ass go to jail. That's what I want to see. So having said that, ladies and gentlemen, shouts out to my homegirl Muchella, who hangs with the fellas. That's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe, share us. We do a good show. We bring you guys a whole lot to offer. We do the TV shows. We do the movies. We do the politics. We keep it real. We give you history. We give you stocks. I don't know what more we can give you short of pulling the T-strings and start taking our clothes off. So if that's the next thing you want to see us do, leave it in the comment section. And until that next Sex is Hell video, wear a mask, stay safe, and vote.
And vote.
We'll see you.
Peace.
Peace.